stories have a perfect ending. I Too Had a Love Story is a heartbreaking tale of love, passion, loss, and through it all, self-discovery. Hello and welcome to this edition of Offline. I'm Lakshmi Karunakaran and I'm at Chandigarh, DC, talking to none other than the author of the national bestseller, I Too Had a Love Story, Infosys Ravinder Singh. Ravinder, welcome to the show. Ravinder, I know that everybody, your friends, as well as people who've read the book, call you Ravin. So I think I'm going to stick to calling you Ravin. Ravin, this is your debut novel. You're a first-time writer. Tell us the story behind your book.
Um, this has been an emotional question always to be answered. I'm an author by chance, and bad things happen in life.
Yes.
And the grief was so intense that I need to get that grief out in terms of words.
Yes.
This is a true story, and that's the reason I can narrate you the storyline of this book. It's about how I met my first love and how beautiful the life went. And almost on the D-Day in our planned engagement week, I lost her in an accident.
Yeah.
So that trauma hit me hard. Uh, what the complete scenario in which all the relatives and my friends have gathered to celebrate our ring ceremony got converted into visiting her funeral.
Yeah.
So it was, I could not even digest the fact that this has happened to me. And down the line, 3 months, I was continuing my phase of sobbing and that phase of frustration and helplessness. Somewhere in me, there was an ego that which was not allowing me to accept that my love story is seeing a negative ending.
Yes.
And it was then when I decided that no, this is not the way it is. We may not be two people to complete this love story, so I should take the brunt and then accept that I need to convert it into a positive ending.
Yes.
It was then when I started writing it. I thought I'll write a book and dedicate it to my girlfriend.
So, Ravin, you chose to write, to become a writer, to come in terms with the grief that struck your life. Was it tough?
It was not tough, not tougher. It was toughest to recall those memories and then pen it down. On the same side, it was also easiest for me. The reason I call it, it was quite easy for me to write it because here I'm not creating any fiction. I need not think of what the storyline. I need not think, okay, should I give this humor to my readers to have a laughter. Why it was difficult is because I need to go back in the same past wherein I used to close my eyes and used to recall, okay, this is the airport. If I talk about the scene at the airport where I had seen her for the very first time, I used to close my eyes, I used to bring back the entire scenario of the airport. I can see, okay, this is, she's standing, what is she wearing, that fragrance of, her being out there, the entire thing. And the moment I used to open my eyes, I used to realize, okay, this is present. And then tears used to roll down my eyes. But yeah, there was just one goal that I need to write it, I need to launch it, that's it. There was no looking back after that.
You were at Bhubaneswar, DC when you wrote the book, and what was the kind of support that you got from your colleagues there while writing this book?
Uh, yes, it was tough in the sense at this point of time I needed all my family support. The family was there and they allowed me to go ahead and fulfill this goal of mine. When I was in Bhubaneswar, I was definitely away from my family, and probably that gave me the space to write this book. The entire freedom was there, and to write anything and everything and get it culminated.
You've also mentioned in the book how your colleagues at Bhubaneswar and at Infosys helped you with the book, how they supported you. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, in fact, two of the Infosians, Priyanka Rathi and Ridhima Kaur Arora, I have mentioned their names in the acknowledgement section as well. I met Priyanka in Bhubaneswar, DC. I got to know that she is writing very nice poetries. It was then when I connected with her and explained her, this is what I'm doing. Occasionally, I used to blog on Infosys bulletin board, and people there used to pick up my blogs, and then they used to tell me, there is a writer in you. Why don't you write and convert it into a book? At that point of time, I got like-minded people. If I talk about, I got a lot of support from the DC heads as well. Bobby Patnaik, the HR head out there, and even the DC head of the Bhubaneswar DC read my book initially when it came to the market. Yeah. So that was a very good, jolly feeling to get so much of support from the DC people. Here in Chandigarh as well, by the time the book was ready to get launched, I got a lot of support from Avinash himself out here. So yeah, it has provided me a lot of platforms and support in the sense of taking this book out.
Also, I understand from our earlier conversation that NRN was one of the first people to read the book, and he says that it is a very simple, honest, and touching book. So, tell us more about your interactions with NRN.
It was an ideal Saturday. The book was almost seeing its launch in the upcoming month, and I was sitting in my office. A week, I didn't have any laptop at home, so weekends I used to work on this book because Infosys has got a computer out there, and by this time my publishers were getting the cover ready, and I was tossing a coin in my cubicle. Should I write an email to NRN and Sudha? Probably they might give a review of this book. So I wrote them an email of 4 to 5 lines. The one line stated, "This is a tribute to my girlfriend." And if I need to think about any love story at Infosys, I've been brought up in Infosys campus, hearing love story of NRN and Sudha. So I thought, let me give a chance. Though I got a tail, I wish for an head. Still, I thought, let me give a chance and write a mail to NRN. And to my surprise, and I'm so glad, uh, within 16 minutes, I got a response back from NRN. Send us the book. I want to read it, and I want to review and give a quote to you. And I'm so glad he did that actually.
Great, great. That's a great story. Tell us, you're a first-time writer, and most writers like you go through a tough phase in getting this published. So, how tough was it for you to find a publisher?
It was very difficult. In a layman's term, people who are not aware of the publishing industry, getting your debut novel published is something similar to as like going to Bollywood, knocking a director's door and telling him to cast me as the next hero. And the initial response is, do you know anyone in this industry? Have you got a literary agent? Your grammar is not perfect, and blah, blah, blah. And even if tomorrow I'm a publisher, probably my reaction would be the same. What will you do if, in case you are getting 500 manuscripts a day? You know, you just give a glance and throw away the copy unless and until you have a sophisticated background out here. So I had roamed on the roads of Delhi. I have been talking to n number of publishers. It has been a very difficult journey. I used to skip my lunches and probably at times dinners while I was chasing the publishers. And there was one thing, I was not ready to compromise on this book in terms of shelving a lot of lakhs of bucks. I used to get a lot of options in case I shell a lakh or two. I'll get that publisher, this publisher through a literary agent. But I want to keep the sanctity of this book, and in case it got to be published, it got to be published on the terms of the sanctity itself. So Srishti Publications, when they read the manuscript and the synopsis, I got a call from them. They asked me, when can we release this book? So that was their first question. I was so glad they did that. And finally, I'm thankful to Mr. Jayant Bose, who's the head of Srishti Publications and who got this debut novel released in the market in the month of December last year.
Your book is now called a national bestseller. It has sold, I think, more than 1 lakh copies in the past couple of months. So, how has life changed after this book?
Uh, I'm completely on a different planet, if I have to be very honest.
I've heard that your phone doesn't stop ringing. You
my,
have a lot of fan following.
my phone doesn't stop ringing, and courtesy because of Infosys email, when you click the properties, you get the mobile number, and because we have 1 lakh Infosians, from 1 lakh it goes to I don't know how many people outside the world. But yeah, it's always good. The feeling that more than being called a star and there are new words in my dictionary, there's a fan following, everything. I am happy that I have a lot of readers rather than fans out there. And it's always great to see bulks of messages, bulks of phone calls. My Orkut completely has been enthralled with, and the Orkut community has touched some many thousand figures. Facebook is again pouring like anything. Infosys email box have been flooded, and at this. By profession, I'm a tester at Infosys, and I'm now getting to know the boundary values. The boundary value of our communicator is 150 people. It on the day of launch, there was a hit of 150. You know, on the communicator, I had to delete people, and whomsoever I was deleting, people were saying, "Why are you deleting us?" The boundary value of Orkut is 1,000 friends. You know, in the 4th week after releasing this book, my Orkut friend list reached 1,000, and alas, I got to know that Orkut doesn't support new friends other than 1,000. So I created a community, and then again the community is bulging like anything at this point of time. Life has been really on a roller coaster, and I'm enjoying this.
Personally, how has life changed? Has the book actually helped you heal and move on?
Uh, a lot of readers actually ask this questions to me. I would say I have seen the phase of getting more matured after writing this book. There's a lot of change in my thought process. I realized at one point of time when the tragedy happened with me in that trauma, I was not ready to move ahead. In fact, some of those feelings are a part of this book. In the last couple of chapters, but now I'm learning, and it's just not this love story. Having written this love story, I'm a listener to so many love stories. You know, people narrate me their stories, how they landed up into a breakup, and how they are again, trying to patching it up. And there's a learning coming ahead of me is that life never stops. You got to move on. If not for you, there are parents, there are the entire family, the relatives, the friends. You again need to open those doors, which I have shut down long back, and you need a change. I think for that change, I left Bhubaneswar DC. I came into Chandigarh DC for a change, and that was my experiment. And I'm glad the experiment turned successful. I'm now open to move ahead in life, and if I need to put a funny bone, I'm just waiting for Katrina to leave Salman, and maybe the day she comes up, you might be seeing another love story.
And personally, I think all of us are very proud of you that you have been able to convert something negative that happened in your life into something more positive. And that's I think that the message that comes from your life. And I think we're very proud of you. All Infosys are very proud of you. And one more thing. I think most of your readers must be asking this question to you. When are you picking up the pen next to write a new book?
uh, I've already picked up the pen,
Oh wow, that's
and
great news.
I've already picked up a couple of pages of my notebook out there, and each one of them have been asking me, what is the next subject of your novel? Well, I can't reveal the name of the novel at this point of time. What I can reveal it to them is that the way the story ends in the current book, there is a lot of anxiety and curiosity in the reader's mind. What happened to that character Raven? The story ends in 2007 somewhere. So and currently we're in 2009, which is again ending. So people, when they write me, the first question is that, are you married? Are you still in Chandigarh? Are you still with Infosys?
Are those the questions from girls? Are you still married?
I won't comment it on television out here, but to a lot of extents, you're right, and that's a good, actually, good idea to.
So I flooded with marriage proposals.
No comments again. Otherwise, probably my love story will stop selling out there. Yeah, but the way the story ends, and with a lot of questions that not only Infosys but all my readers have been putting me, I've been telling them that it's a sequel, but this sequel is going to have a lot of fiction element in it. And this time I actually want to experiment my writing. For this book, I'm just an author. It's just my baby. So maybe it's a baby to me. I told a love story. But the other book will be a book actually. That might be flooded with a lot of vocabs, with a lot of literary stuff into it, with the professional authors are doing that. I just want to experiment that skill of mine.
That's great. All the best for your book that is coming up, and congratulations for your first book, which is doing so well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for joining us and giving us your time. And to you viewers, I recommend this highly. It's a great book. You can pick this up from your nearest bookstore. It is by Shrishti Publishers. And again, Ravinder, thanks again.
Thank you very much.
That's all we have for this edition of Offline. We'll be back soon with another edition featuring another talented Infoscion from your campus. Thanks for tuning in and stay tuned.